Hey everyone, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and it is in fact time for Badgers picks for the week of January 19th. Let's see who's free this week and which 4 champions I'm going to recommend. For this week, we'll see Ari, Azir, Mundo, Draven, Gnar, Leona, Lucian, Pantheon, Sion, and Soraka. And for my first champion recommendation for the week, I'm going to give it over to Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo, pretty strong champion. If I was to rate power tanks, he's going to be in the top 2, right next to Tom Kench. He just gets super tanky. The new masteries do help him out. There's some specific ones you can get to help with your regeneration and just kind of your overall ridiculousness. Another thing too, I think some people kind of do forget about Mundo is as he does get tanky, he still does plenty of damage. Cleavers are on a very, very short cooldown, and they do a lot of magic damage. And his empowered auto attacks when he activates his E is, it's a lot of damage. He can take turrets surprisingly quick with that active. And when you do slow somebody with a cleaver, you can just run up to him and bash him in the face a couple times. And then you can just run away at 1,000,000 miles an hour while regenerating all of your health. Mundo's just a super, super strong champion. He was actually one of the first champions I would say I quote-unquote mained, like back in like season 1 or 2. I played a lot of Mundo. Very, very strong champion. Always will be because he's such a strong frontliner. So try him out this week if you don't have him. My second recommendation for the week is going to go over to Lucian. If you remember correctly, at the middle to end of last season, I had Lucian pretty low on my tier list. He had seen nerfs at the beginning of the year. He was falling out of favor in competition. And realistically, he wasn't in that great of a spot. As the end of the season was coming to a close, he did get a couple changes, a couple small buffs that did help him out, made him a little bit more viable, but not completely. But then in the offseason, with the changes to other ADCs, just to items in general, and with the introduction of new specific items, Lucian's a lot better now. More on the case, or what I'm trying to say is, with the introduction of the new Essence Reaver, he's a much stronger pick because that first item matches his playstyle incredibly well. And just the current meta too favors him too, just with the way people want to be using him in team fights. So if you don't have Lucians for some crazy reason, he's pretty strong again, I would say. A lot of it being down to the items that are now available to ADCs to use. So try him out this week. My third recommendation for the week is going to go over to Pantheon. I like Pantheon. He's kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of play. I just haven't seen him around a lot, so I kind of want to give him a mini shout out. I think he's still quite fun. And the other nice thing too is if you are someone who wants to maybe learn how to jungle, maybe looking for something slightly different there, he's quite good at that because he can avoid and or block damage in the jungle really effectively with his shield, or with that block ability that he has for his passive, and actually on one of his abilities too. So you can proc it multiple times and save yourself, and it makes farming a lot easier. I will say with his ultimate though, you really have to be in a good position, or make sure you position your ultimate in a good spot, because if you do miss that, that totally sucks and kind of feels like a terrible way to miss an initiation. But besides that, he's really good early too. At like level 2, you can walk into lanes and have pretty successful ganks since you can just have that auto stun when you just click on him. So works really well. He's still really fun to play too. If you don't have him, try him out this week. And for my final champion recommendation for the week, I'm going to give it over to Soraka. We haven't seen any real changes come to Soraka. I actually haven't seen her played as much recently, but she's still quite strong. The heals in the bot lane are just ridiculous. She can keep her lane partner up and alive for a crazy amount of time. If you are maybe just going to be playing ADC this week and you're going to be having a friend support you, maybe you want to recommend to them that they play Soraka if you just want to farm like crazy and not really have to worry about taking damage. Soraka is going to be a great support to take with you. She just has so much sustain when it comes to keeping everyone alive. So very, very strong still. Don't know if we'll see any nerfs coming in the future. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. But who knows? So try her out this week if you do not have her as well. Those are going to be the 4 champions I'm going to recommend for this week. Obviously, there's a lot of other good champions in this rotation. This is one of the better rotations I think we've actually seen in a long time, but that's just my personal opinion. It doesn't really matter. I've owned every champion for the last bajillion years. But yeah, that's what it is. If there's a box around any of these champions' portraits, that means it will take you to some sort of a build video, and there will be some new builds coming up too soon, because I'm gonna start jumping on those now that the season's officially underway. Also look for a new tier list video, hopefully tomorrow or sometime later this week for sure. But other than that, I wish all of you the best of luck this week on the Fields of Justice.